UGEEDRAMA is unfolding right now around the Kansas City Chiefs. And honestly, nobody saw it coming this fast, this loud, and this controversial. What started as a quiet offseason has suddenly exploded into one of the most talked about situations in the entire NFL. Fans are confused, insiders are divided, and the biggest question echoing everywhere is Patrick Mahomes actually losing control of the team? Because what we're witnessing doesn't look like the same perfectly balanced, championship-driven organization that dominated headlines just a short time ago. Something feels different. Something feels off. And when a franchise quarterback like Mahomes is at the center of the storm, every move becomes magnified. Let's rewind for a second. The Chiefs built their dynasty on stability. Smart front office decisions, a strong locker room culture, and most importantly, a quarterback who wasn't just a superstar, but a leader. Mahomes wasn't just throwing touchdowns. He was setting the tone. He was the guy everyone rallied behind. When things got tough, he was the one calming the chaos. But now, the chaos isn't calming down. It's growing. Reports started surfacing that some recent roster decisions inside the organization weren't exactly aligned with what Mahomes wanted. And that's where things start to get interesting. Because when you have a quarterback of that caliber, usually the front office listens. Not just listens, but builds around his vision. So when moves begin to happen that don't seem to fit that vision, people start asking questions. And fans noticed it immediately. Social media exploded with reactions. Some fans are defending the organization, saying it's all part of a long-term plan. Others are pointing fingers, claiming the Chiefs are making risky decisions that could backfire in a big way. But the most concerning reactions are the ones questioning whether Mahomes is still the central voice in that locker room. Because here's the thing, control in the NFL doesn't just mean calling plays on the field. It means influence. It means trust. It means having a say in the direction of the team. And when that starts to slip, even slightly, it can create cracks that eventually turn into full-blown fractures. And insiders are starting to whisper. There are growing rumors that not everyone in the locker room is on the same page anymore. That certain players are confused about their roles. That some decisions have created tension behind the scenes. Now, nothing has been officially confirmed, but in the world of sports, where there's smoke, there's usually something burning underneath. And Mahomes? He's right in the middle of it. You can see it in his body language. In recent appearances, he's been more reserved, less vocal. Not the same energetic presence fans are used to. Now, that could mean nothing. It could just be off-season mode, but when paired with everything else going on, it starts to feel like part of a bigger picture. And that bigger picture is starting to look messy. Let's talk about the controversial moves themselves. The Chiefs have made decisions that many analysts are calling bold, but others are calling questionable. Moves that seem to prioritize experimentation over stability. And while innovation is great, it's also risky when you're already a championship-caliber team. Why change what's working? That's the question fans keep asking. Some believe the front office is trying to stay ahead of the league, trying to evolve before other teams catch up. But others think they might be overthinking it, that they're fixing something that wasn't broken. And if Mahomes isn't fully on board with these changes, that's where the real problem begins. Because a quarterback like him doesn't just adapt to the system adapts to him. So if the system starts shifting in ways that don't match his strengths, it could affect everything. Timing, chemistry, confidence. And in the NFL, those small changes can have massive consequences. But here's where the drama really intensifies. There are reports suggesting that Mahomes had certain expectations heading into this phase of the team's development. Expectations about who would stay, who would go, what kind of players would be brought in. And when those expectations don't line up with reality, frustration can build. Now again, this isn't confirmed, but the speculation alone is enough to shake confidence. Because fans don't want to believe that their franchise quarterback is unhappy. They don't want to believe that there's a disconnect between Mahomes and the organization. But the more these stories circulate, the harder it becomes to ignore them. And the media? They're fueling the fire. Every move is being analyzed. Every quote is being dissected. Every reaction is being turned into a headline. And when that kind of pressure builds, it can start to affect the team internally. Players hear it. Coaches hear it. And yes, Mahomes hears it too. So now the question becomes, how does he respond? Does he step up and reassert his leadership? Does he publicly support the decisions and shut down the noise? Or does he stay quiet and let the speculation grow? Because silence can be powerful, but it can also be dangerous. And right now, the silence is loud. Fans are looking for reassurance. They want to see that everything is under control. That Mahomes is still the leader, still the voice, still the guy who commands respect in that locker room. But until they see that clearly, the doubts will continue. And let's be honest, this isn't just about one-off season. This could impact the entire season ahead. If the chemistry isn't right, if the trust isn't fully there, if the system doesn't click the way it should, it could lead to struggles on the field. And when a team like the Chiefs starts struggling, the criticism becomes relentless. Every loss becomes a story. Every mistake becomes a headline. And every decision gets questioned all over again. That's the reality of being at the top. And that's why this situation feels so intense. Because the Chiefs aren't just any team. They're a team with expectations. A team that's supposed to compete for championships every single year. And when something threatens that standard, it becomes a big deal. A very big deal. But here's another angle to consider. What if this is all part of a bigger strategy? What if the Chiefs are intentionally making these bold moves to reshape the team for the future? To build a new identity that can sustain success long-term? Because let's face it, the NFL is constantly evolving. And teams that don't adapt get left behind. So maybe, just maybe, this isn't chaos. Maybe it's transformation. And maybe Mahomes is more involved than people think. Maybe the public perception doesn't reflect what's actually happening behind closed doors. Maybe he's fully aware of the plan. Maybe he's even supporting it. But until that becomes clear, the speculation will continue. And that's what makes this story so compelling. Because right now, we're in that uncertain phase. That moment where anything feels possible. Where the narrative can shift in an instant. One strong statement from Mahomes could calm everything down. One big win early in the season could silence the critics. But until then, the drama remains. And it's only getting bigger. So what do you think? Is this just an overreaction fueled by media hype? Or is there something real happening behind the scenes? Is Mahomes still fully in control of the team? Or are we witnessing the beginning of a shift in power? Because one thing is clear. The Kansas City Chiefs are no longer operating quietly. They're in the spotlight. And every move they make from this point forward will be watched, analyzed, and debated like never before. Stay tuned, because this story is far from over.